I have a couple books that are not trading related that traders should read, as it will help with their trading. Now, the first book I got here is, well, we all know this book. Very famous book, written by James Clear. It's called Atomic Habits. This banger. Give it a read. If you haven't, buy one. If you have read it, reread it again. I've read this book at least a couple times, and well, it's a great book. So let me tell you where the book really starts off. It tells you, you know, about the importance of small gains. And, in trading, we understand what compound gains are. We know how good it is, really. Anyway, and it gives you a little graph that says, well, if you improve by 1% every day by the end of the year, you'll be 37 times better than where you were before. And if you got worse 1% every day for the year, you'd be close to zero. So it helps understand about, small little actions day to day that will help with the future. Now, in chapter 2, it talks about your identity and, well, how your habits are really formed by your identity and what you think, your thoughts, right? It's your thoughts that drive your actions, not your actions drive your thoughts. And also, it talks about you should be more focused on, the process rather than the outcome. And how you do that is by you do not set goals. Instead, you build systems. Systems in place which you should, operate day to day, week to week, however you do, that will eventually get you to that goal. And yeah, it talks about, building habits and, well, it's a book that helps you build habits, helps you be consistent, and which is all things that you need. You need good habits in trading. And in trading, you need good outside of life, outside of trading habits to help with trading. So that is a good book. Give it a read. Atomic Habits is a book that I've read a couple times, and I've also made some notes on it um, on my Notion, so I can quickly get back to it and look at it. And it gives you some techniques on how to, make a habit stick. So it tells you you should start small. You know, start with smallest amount of time you can commit, and then slowly build on it. Teaches you to be patient because there is a graph which is called the plateau of latent potential, and in which it shows, where you think you should be and where you actually are. So the way you think you should be is a linear graph that goes across, whereas where you actually are is an exponential graph. And then the gap in between the underneath the linear line and the above the exponential line is, the valley of disappointment, they say, because that's where you're putting the effort in and where you think you should be, but you're actually not there, you're lower. But it helps give you an idea that you should, be patient and trust the process. Anyway, so that is a premise of the Atomic Habits. It tells you why it's important, and then it goes on to how to build the habits and also how to break bad ones. So if you have bad trading habits, it's good to get rid of them and replace it with good ones. So this will help with not just trading, but just life in general. This is a good book that will help with trading. Now, there is one other book that I think traders should read. It's not as well known as Atomic Habits is, but very useful. Very, very useful. And also very useful with life. It's called The Winner Effect. Now, This is a book that goes into a little bit of science on, the body and how the brain works. Well, it first tells you that when when you win in a competitive field, when you win in a competitive field, you're more likely to win again in the future in the same environment slash competition, right? And the book references studies on rats where rats fight each other, and then the weaker rats are more likely to win the future fights when they start off with a small opponent, and then they build up. And yeah, and it tells you why. And a lot of the reasoning is to do with your testosterone. And when you win, you get boosted testosterone, right? And we all know what testosterone does, right? It makes you stronger, fitter, healthier, whatever, right? So that it could be a reason why you win in the future because you're more stronger for competition because you won previously. And then it tells you what testosterone does for the brain. And well, what does testosterone do? Well, it makes you smarter, makes you stronger, makes you more action orientated, right? You become more focused on the goal and you go after it. You got that drive, you got that dog in you. And yeah, and it helps increases your chance of winning again. And more testosterone makes you more sensitive to dopamine, which is what helps increase your focus. And they actually also the author was referencing stories about traders who, when scientists measured the testosterone before and after the trading day, and it found out that traders with higher testosterone ended up making more money than those with lower testosterone because they had more of a risk appetite. They were taking more risks. And also winning, making money and winning in trading boosts testosterone even more, meaning that you're more likely to go out and do it again. Now, here is where the harm comes in because it also talks about some of the negative side effects. So, one of the negative side effects of, having, boosted testosterone or being power hungry is you don't, how do you word it? You can't see in other people's perspective. So you're blind to it. You're blind to how people perceive you. You're blind to how people look at the problems. Another thing is, which is the big one, is that you get a higher sense of, well, you get an illusion of control with testosterone. You think it bends to your will. You think that you are, in the most control. So, and that sometimes that the rules don't apply to you, and that is some people's downfall in trading is where they think they can control the market, and they also don't think the rules apply to them, so they break their own rules that they set for themselves. So, yeah, it is a double-edged sword, but it is a great book because it tells you how testosterone, your need for power, uh, you know, all affects the brain and how you act as well. And yeah, and funny enough, a lot of people with high testosterone are more like, apparently more likely to be gambling addicts because, it's all about the dopamine, right? And people who have a high need of power as well love money, love sex, love drugs, love gambling, all that stuff. So yeah, it also tells you bits and pieces which, you should look out for if you do experience a big winning season in your life. So yeah, be aware of that. But those are two books which I recommend any trader to read to help with their trading and also just life in general. But anyway, thank you for, listening. And if you have any more suggestions of anything I should do, any type of content I should push out, well, let me know. So peace.